At least Depardieu didn't leave a poo. That's the gist of a joke that made Anderson giggle. I speak of CNN's resident dreamboat, Anderson Cooper, who got a case of baby laughter during a segment about Gerard Depardieu. Boy, has he aged well. The French actor is accused of urinating on the floor of a delayed flight from Paris to Dublin. So Coop had some laughs in a puntastic segment before completely losing it.
Now, all I can say is they should thank their lucky stars it wasn't Depardieu. Sorry. That made me giggle every time I read it. He hasn't commented on this incident. Depardieu. I know you got it, but... All right, sorry. Sorry.
Wow.
I have never heard that come out of anybody's mouth.
Saw a new side to him there, didn't we?
Well, yeah, we saw a new side of them, and it's a side we're going to discuss in...
Lightning round. Lightning round.
Jamie, you care to comment on any or all of this story? I really don't have any questions. You can talk about Gerard Depardieu, or you can talk about Anderson Cooper. At this point, basically everything in my head has been erased by that giggle.
Well, we saw that Anderson Cooper, surprisingly, this is a guy who goes to Somalia and in revolutionary Egypt, has the humor of a 3-year-old.
Yes.
But, you know, I sympathize with Depardieu. Or
whatever.
Depardieu. You know, when you got to go, you got to go. I wish I could tell you that I might not have an accident during the show. I wish I could tell you that, but I'd be lying if I did.
Interesting. Tom, what do you think of that Depardieu joke?
I mean, it was, if you watch the whole segment, it's all puns, and they're all terrible. But that's one of the worst of them all. The fact that that was the one that set him off. I think people should watch it, and it is an insight into the mind of Anderson Cooper.
It is amazing. That laughter was like, that's what you give an evil psychopath who's petting a cat, watching you like your fingernails on a cliff.
I thought it was cute. It made me love Anderson Cooper.
But I should go after him.
I will. But originally I thought this.
What?
I'll change him. I'll change him from his waist.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He is single, though. He lives in my neighborhood.
Single?
But go ahead.
I originally thought the story was about Bill's accident on JetBlue last week, and then I found out it was about Depardieu. So.
See, that's actually my point. That's what I love about this story. We have people like Gerard Depardieu that is legitimizing public urination and then forgetting about it afterwards. And then we have Anderson. And the great thing about Anderson is that he shows that his sense of humor is less sophisticated than mine. You know, I'm the real winner in this, Greg.
The real story is that picture of Gerard Depardieu. This is a guy who was like a dashing French actor who now looks like Herman Munster, an uglier, if possible, version of Herman Munster.
I don't know if he's ever been that dashing. I always thought he sort of looked like a hippie Honus Wagner. There was nothing really that attractive.
I'm nodding as if I know who Honus Wagner is.
He was a great player for the Pittsburgh Pirates, Greg.
Oh,
and his face looked like it was a sack full of potatoes.
Well, I think David Byrne's suit is going to some good use from that Stop Making Sense.
You know what's great about that joke? There's only like after anybody born after 1982 has no idea what you mean by that.
Over my head. Yeah. And Jamie's.
I think there's a larger problem here. You have Dominique Strauss-Kahn, who gets like 200 harassment complaints on Air France. Now you have another French guy who's peeing on the plane. I think the Frenchmen might be more dangerous to airlines than radical Islamist terrorists.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
They should just make one airline for him and DSK.
There you go.
Can you imagine first class?
Yeah.
Oh, I ain't mopping that up.
All right, a Colorado town has decided to shut down 2 city water fountains outside a concert venue during a 3-day Fish concert over Labor Day weekend. Fish, of course, is the craptastic jam band whose fans follow them all over the country. Said Commerce City Mayor, quote, "It's not because we think Fish followers are not the best of people, but we just want to avoid a challenge that may or may not come up. We are more concerned about what may be placed in the fountains." Tom, is this move fishist? They're assuming the worst from these concert goers.
Yeah, and then they say we're not assuming the worst. We're only assuming the best of these Phish fans. But then they don't give a real answer. Obviously, they're afraid the Phish fans are going to go into the fountains.
Yes.
And wash up, I guess.
I guess so. I think this is code, though, Jamie. They're saying that at a Phish show, there are people that have no couth. They're uncouth, and they will do things in the fountain that are disgusting, and they have every right to turn off those fountains, I think.
Well, the problem is that the mayor keeps saying it wasn't specifically for the Phish concert. Why doesn't he be honest? Everybody at that concert, it's Phish, is going to be high. If there are fountains to be swam in or bathed in, they're going to do it. I think the only good news for Denver is that there is no inkling that Gerard Depardieu is going to be there to contaminate their water, their public water supply.
That is true. Kaylee, thoughts?
I was upset by this. I'd be upset if I was a Phish fan. I mean, back in my Georgetown days, I frequented the fountain on Saturday evenings with my roommate. No, that sounds really bad. Yeah. But we hopped in the fountain, so I'd be upset if I was a Phish fan.
And we confirmed that it was bad, even if you didn't get specifics.
Bill, you never shower, so 3 days is nothing.
Well, I'll tell you something. I went to high school in the early 90s in the Midwest, so Phish fans were the only girls we had. And I hooked up some of them, and oftentimes they would think I was a fountain. And everything this guy said is accurate. They're filthy creatures, Greg.
Time for another break. And remember to check out the Red Eye podcast. There's a new one every day. To catch them, go to foxnewsradio.com and click on Red Eye. Tonight we talked about competition, I think.